Okay, so I know I haven't been posting honestly any videos. I've been just a little busy with a bunch of stuff. But I think it's time to make a video. We have, I believe, like a handful of or like 20 or so cardish coming back to standard tomorrow, which is October 8th, 2019. So the way like Hearthstone works is we have Wild, which contains all the expansions that you can play, and then you have Standard, which is like the last 2 years of expansion. So that's like Witchwood, Boomsday, etc., Rise, Saviors of Doom, Rise of Shadows. Am I missing something? And all those. Oh yeah, Rusticon's Rumble and all that. So these cards were already taken out, but I mean, it's gonna bring a lot of flavor because these cards were like pretty interesting to begin with. I mean, I remember these cards like it was yesterday. So Druid gets Astral Communion. So this is pretty. I mean, generally you saw this like in all like big druids. Okay. I mean, you used to innervate, then like Astral Communion and all that stuff, and then you pretty much just like nourish into big draws and stuff like that. So overall, pretty interesting card. Probably gonna see a bunch of like big druids. I know that used to be a thing, and then they kind of like nerfed a bunch of like ramp for the druids to get, but I still think it's doable with all the big druids. Generally, we've been seeing like nothing but like token druids. I guess we've seen a little bit of combo druids, but we'll see. Kuhn, the Forgotten King. This was also a pretty interesting card. We used to see Kuhn into like Ultimate Infestation. I couldn't think of the card. That was I used to like hate that card, but eh. So overall, like you play like a 7/7 pretty much for free, and then you can just like, well, we saw the Aviana, we saw the Kuhn Aviana and all that stuff. Because like you could pretty much just like, yeah, that's what you could do. Kuhn, get like 10 mana crystals back, and then you play Aviana, and then you just play all your big boy stuff. But pretty interesting. I mean, this goes hand in hand. They probably want to bring some type of like big druid back. So okay, so Mage is next. Babbling Book. Yep, pretty interesting card. Babbling Book. That's all I gotta say. Forehead. I mean, overall, pretty decent card. Especially we've been seeing a lot of tempo mages, so it continues to be like a pretty interesting card for them. I mean, you can get like a Fireball, Frostbolt, Pyroblast. I've gotten Pyroblast from them, Blizzard. Like, it's just overall a decent card, even though it's like a high RNG card. Like, you can get a Flame Strike. There's times where, I mean, ever since the Aluneth kind of rotated out, like, channeling later stages of the game for Tempo Mage, you just don't have that much card generation, at least card draw. So this could help it in its best because generally like you could just get like a burn to kill your opponent with. And Flamewalker, God bless, I serve the Fire Lord. So another pretty interesting tempo card. Probably gonna be played easy. I mean, I really want to push Tempo Mage. Oh boy. Paladin gets Mysterious Challenger again. So, we haven't seen like some aggro secret Paladins, so this fits into it really well. Then Avenge. Yeah. Probably gonna see a bunch more secret Paladin. Especially there's a lot of secret synergistic stuff, so easy game. Lock and load, Hunter. Each time you cast a spell this turn, add a random Hunter card to your hand. So, we have been seeing like some like secret mid-range-ish hunters, even like spell hunters, just because like we have Zul'jin and he can just like spam a bunch of spells and easy game. So, yeah. I mean, We have seen like secret. I mean, just Spell Hunter in general, but I think it's kind of died down now. It's more like mid ranger stuff. So, eh, it's an all right card. I think it could see some play. I mean, getting stuff like kill commands or even like secrets, animal companions, like that's pretty decent value, especially for 2 mana. I mean, you could generate maybe like 2, 3, 4 spells, give or take. So not too bad. Call of the Wild. So summon all 3 animal companions. This is back with Whispers of the Old Gods. I think so. I mean, it's a alright card. I mean, you summon what? All 3, so it's not too bad. For 9 mana, it's not bad. I mean, you can like pretty much develop a pretty decent sizable board for that. You could run this in some type of mid-range type of hunters. It's just the fact this card is kind of slow. I mean, why would you run this when you can run a Savannah Highmane? That's all I'm saying. I know Huffer is like what gonna be a 5 damage with Leok. Then you have like Misha's taunt, so it has potential. Especially since Savannah Highmane will probably just get like removed. You know, you're facing Shaman, Hex, Silence, or just like hard removal, but pretty much Huffer is like 5 damage to I mean, that's like a sixth of their health, so I mean overall pretty decent. Could see some play. Even like Spell Hunter, we've been like with Zul'jin, you know, Call the Wild, Summon 3, easy game. Shaman gets evolved, so we know the interesting double gangster evolves. So transform your minions into 1 minions that cost 1 more. Yeah, I mean, it's an overall decent card. It's just like we've only been seeing like 3 shaman decks, and that's like battle cries, which I guess is pretty interesting. The quest battle cries and all that stuff. And then we've been seeing token shaman, which isn't necessarily too bad. Just you spam the board and then just bloodlust and kill your opponent. And then we've been seeing Murloc Shaman. So overall pretty decent. It's just in those decks you kind of run like aggro minions. So it's not like you run doppelgangsters where you evolve into 6-drop. Whereas, you know, you like evolve totems. There's a chance you can get a Doomsayer. I know it's happened to me a couple times. So you just need to be wary. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get Doomsayer every time. I mean, there's a butt ton of 2-drops, but there's a possibility. So I'm saying like maybe 1 out of like 1,000 times it could happen, but could happen to you. Thing from below, another pretty interesting thing. These kind of go hand in hand. I mean, generally like you're like toteming, so I mean like mid ranges. This used to be like the epitome of like token shamans. I mean, you have like a bunch of evolve factors and all that stuff. Like there's I forgot what the card's called, but it transform your a friendly minion to 1 costs 1 more, so you get a pretty much 7-drop. 7-drops are okay in the sense. I mean, you could probably get like Parent Get in it and screw your board up, but overall pretty okay. I mean, pretty solid minion, especially if this gets to like 2-3 mana, 2 mana, 2-3 mana, 5-5 with taunt. Overall pretty decent. So, Shaku. So we saw this card a lot. Pretty interesting. We saw you used to see a lot of this with Bone Mare and all that garbage. Overall, pretty decent. The stats are not necessarily too good, but overall, for like a tempo rogue, it has potential. Squash Burglar, I mean, yeah, this card used to be pretty interesting as well. I mean, this is like the way you were able to summon patches from your deck. I mean, and overall, like, this does help with. I mean, this does help with the like rogue quests in general too. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be played in like quest or tempo rogue. I mean, that's pretty much the only decks you really see. So, but they'll probably be playable. I mean, all these cards will probably see some play. Light Bomb, deal damage to each minion. Deal damage to each minion equal to its attack. So, another board clear. God Bless Priest gets another gosh dang board clear. I mean, I honestly think they get every time cards come out, I'm pretty sure they get a board clear every time. Vol'jin. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking. I was confused myself. Vol'jin Battlecry. Swap health with another minion. So overall pretty decent. 5 mana, 6. I mean, this could be like at least like a 5 or 6 health minion, especially in the later stages of the game. It's just this card is okay. I mean, there's times where you can pull some interesting combos. Like you could run this in like some OTK priest deck. It's just you could have like an Unsteam Power Bot, whatever, the 4 mana 0/9 taunt minion. You can like make this become like a 30 or so ish. It's just the fact that there's a lot of removals in Hearthstone, you know, like there's like polymorph, hex, there's like silences, so the card is alright. It just has opportunity to go south. I mean, 5 mana 6 is alright in terms of stats, but hopefully this card does not get boned. I mean, especially with like all like the boomsday with all the mechs, generally people do run a decent amount of silence. So Imp Gang Boss. So whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 1/1 Imp. Yep, probably gonna see a lot of play in Zulux. I mean, 3 mana 2/4, and then you can just like Demon Fire this. This becomes what, a 4/6, and it can just snowball out of control. So pretty interesting. Then you have like what, Dark Pact, or no, not Dark Pact, but where you destroy a friendly minion and give all your minions 1/1. So you know you can like develop this even bigger, and it just can snowball out of control. And you know it can't, like, the only real board clear it dies to is like what, Flame Strike. That's about it. Or like a huge silence. Renounce. We saw Renounce back in like Whispers of the Old Gods. It's overall a pretty decent card. We saw the Renounce where you just run like Barnes with Yashiraj and all that garbage. It's alright. It's just, I don't know how they're going to be able to implement this. I mean, you're pretty much just like tap, tap, tap until you try to like roll Renounce or Barnes. And generally, like, you have pretty decent value if you can draw it. I mean, you can run 2 Renounces in your deck, so you have like what, a 1 in 15 opportunity to like roll this, so it's not too bad. Varian Wrenn. Ooh. 10 mana 7/7. Draw 3 minions. Oh, draw 3 cards. Put any minions you drew directly into the battlefield. So, we have been seeing, like, in the past, we have been seeing a lot of big, warriors where they run, like, Grommash, you know, like, all those other stuff. Devil Swords. So, overall, like, this could fit in some, like, tempo deck. It's just, generally, like, if you're, it's an okay card. Generally, I want to say it could see some play in some tempo warriors. I mean, generally that's like the only warriors I play is tempo. I mean, just like control warriors, pretty brain dead to play. You know, you brawl, 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 and you armor up. So not too bad. Probably see playing some like big warriors. Bloodhoof Brave. Ooh, this was a really interesting minion to deal with. 4 mana 2/6 taunt, has 3 damage while attacked. So we can, I mean, overall, pretty decent card. I mean, this was pretty much played in like almost any warrior deck. Control, like mid-range-ish. I mean, it's a 4 mana. It could become like, I'm thinking like, take at least like 2-3 hits from my minion. And then you have like, what, Sun and Genesis. You can like enrage that, Sun and Genesis it. And then you got like pretty much 10 damage on board. Like, holy nuts, dude. Like, that's going to be impossible to deal with. I mean, this card was always, I honestly thought was super cancerous to deal with, so. Probably will see played in like Tempo, Control Warrior. N'Zoth the Corruptor. Battle Cry. Summon your Death Rattle minions that died this game. Well, it's an alright card. It's just, what you have to do is play like a deck that synergizes with this. So that means you're playing Death Rattle minions. Like, the only time this card ever really was useful was just for like value. Like we saw back in Unguro, Priest had played 7 Death Rattle minions and they got Amara, which was pretty insane. I mean, N'Zoth was just used as value for later stages of the game when your opponent didn't have any board clears and you could summon like Shell Razors and all that good stuff. So overall, pretty decent. Pretty decent in terms of like control decks. Sylvanas Windrunner, the War Chief of the Horde right now. Death Rattle, take control of a random enemy minion. Yeah, this card was Hall of Famed. I mean, it was pretty broken. I mean, it was really hard to deal with. I mean, Sylvanas was played in almost pretty much every deck. Honestly, not almost every. She was played in every deck back in like years ago. So, I mean, there's a reason why they Hall of Famed her. Was because she was too broken to deal with. I mean, you're almost guaranteed to like generally face Sylvanas turn 6. It's just she has so much value. Even though she only has like 5/5 worth of stats, she pretty much has like a mind control. So overall pretty decent. You know, you could just save this for the later stages of this game, you know. You can just deal with maybe like Mechathune decks. You know, you can mind control it. So I mean, it's overall just a pretty brain dead card. I mean, probably gonna see played. I think what they should do is just make her like a 8 mana card. 6 mana 5/5. It's a little slow, but in terms of her value, she pretty much has what? 16 mana worth of stats. So for a 6 drop, so not too bad. I mean, mind control's 10 mana, so. Ragnaros the Fire Lord. By fire be purged. 8 mana 8/8. Pretty much like Sylvanas. Played in almost every deck. Insane value. It's just the only issue is he attacks a random enemy minion or enemy, not enemy minion, but enemy. So there's times where you can high roll and stuff like that. You can like get a big trade or you can like hit their face and it's pretty much just rip. But overall, Ragnaros will probably we'll see play. Curator, this is always a very interesting card. 7 mana 4/6. It's a taunt. Battlecry, draw a beast, dragon, and Murloc from your deck. So we saw some pretty interesting combos with this, you know. It was played in like some control-ish, even like some mid-range decks. There was, for example, stuff like you saw this in what like Murloc Paladins and stuff like that. I mean, it's just card generation pretty much. So, and it's like it's an okay sized taunt. So overall, pretty interesting. We'll most likely see some play. I don't think it's gonna be like Sylvanas and Ragnaros. Well, they're pretty much gonna be played in every deck, but Emperor Therasan. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. So, generally you see this card like combo decks. I mean, that's pretty much it. You really won't. We'll probably see some play of him. I imagine like big decks, like big boy decks, probably see play, but other than that, overall pretty interesting. Yeah, stuff like Malagos that can like deal with, they can synergize well with this, and all that stuff. So overall, pretty interesting cards coming back from previous expansions. I mean, what they, I like what they're doing here. It's just there's only so much we see from like current standard. I mean, it's pretty much the same Brain Dead deck, so this gives a little bit of flavor to what we've already been exposed to and more. So overall interesting. That was it for me. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more videos, but it's just I have school and work and I play video games. It's just a little bit closer for me to do all this stuff, but overall, I was thinking about doing like a Walking Dead like review of the last season, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have fun on the Hearthstone board with Sylvanas and Ragnaros blowing you up. See ya.